some Davison athletes took a dive into the SVL.
Is your online ordering bad for the environment? DTV produces another one of our Nova Science stories.
And we have the Student Council election results. DTV News starts right now.
There's movement. It's the moment many have been waiting for. Student council results are in. Good afternoon, Davison.
Here are your officers for the future senior class. Abby Gretsch is treasurer, Joshua Beller is vice president, and Trinity Campbell is your president.
Officers for the future junior class are Erza Lozin as treasurer, Nadia Belmore is secretary, Deshaun Grays is vice president, and DTV's own Cooper Austin won class president. And ending off with the future sophomores, Isabella Chorley is treasurer, Mara Buffett is your vice president, and Hannah Kindle is class president. We will have a complete list including class representatives on our website, dtvnews.org.
Another big event students voted on was next year's homecoming. Hollywood theme is the winner. Great jobs to all participants in the election, and thank you to everyone who used their voice and voted.
All student library books are due next Thursday, June 8th. The library will not be allowing any new checkouts. However, students may renew their current library books in order to be able to finish them. Also, if you plan on driving next year and getting a parking spot on campus, you must have all library fines paid and books returned before you will be assigned a parking spot.
The House of Cards First Robotics team is looking for new members for the fall season. If you are interested and would like more information, just email hocfrc3534@gmail.com. You can also find them on their social media pages listed on your screen. This information can also be found in the daily announcements. If you are a sophomore or junior and need a parking spot on campus, please see the front office to obtain a yellow form. Turn the signed yellow form in along with your driver's license and Michigan vehicle registration. All parking spots vacated by a senior are currently being assigned to those on the waiting list. They are going fast, so get your yellow form in today. It is $20 for a spot.
Start collecting those pop cans. The DHS Marching Band is hosting a can drive. Tomorrow we'll be collecting cans and bottles from the east side of the high school. It will go from 10 until 3. Just look for the Marching Band trailer.
Coming up in sports, where and when our Cardinal athletes will be for playoffs.
And Rex has a look ahead at the possible cool down in your forecast.
Our world is under pressure from the ever-changing climate.
About 2% of the Great.
It's changing the way we live and even the way we interact with our environment.
It often ends up here on the side of the road.
DTV, along with PBS Nova Science Studio and WKAR, set out to educate student reporters about climate change. Over the next few weeks, DTV will premiere our year-long project telling the stories of people on the front lines who are dealing with the effects of a changing environment, struggling to maintain their way of life.
As you can tell, it would be really hard.
And fighting to change the way we interact with our world.
I got Jimmy Collins on the slam.
Welcome to sports. Let's take a peek at the other Davison athletes who made the all-SBL teams. Starting out with softball, Parker Gordon and Noah Bradley both made second, while Lydia Mintio and Maya Dodge made honorable mention. Moving on to track, Lane Forrest got first for the 3,200 meter, as well as both Seth Hopkins and Elizabeth Rainwater got first in guys and girls pole vaulting. Last but not least, Javian Johnson and Braylon Naves, Logan Honeycutt, and Henry Karpenstein got first for their 4x100 and 4x200 dashes. Great job to everybody on their great seasons. Sports physicals will be given here at DHS for any athlete who still needs one. It'll be next Wednesday evening, June 7th from 6 until 8. The cost is $25, and all athletes must have a current sports physical dated on or after April 15th of this year to be eligible for next school year. The Davison High School ski team competed last night in Flushing High School Invitational. Despite the blistering heat, the varsity squad brought home the bronze with a third-place finish. The team competes in the MTA in Mason on Friday, June 9th in the state championships. Let's take a look at where our remaining Davison athletes will be competing for the playoffs this weekend. Tomorrow at 12:15, the baseball team will be at home for their first round against Lapeer Lightning. Also tomorrow, some members of the track team will be heading to Rockford High School to try and take home the state championship. Good luck to all of the athletes competing in playoffs this week. So, for our athletes competing in a win-or-go-home games this weekend, should they expect any blistering temps for this week?
Well, Dresden, I would make sure to get outside this weekend because we're going to have a little cool down next week. And I mean little. So when we're going to today, it's a high of 89 degrees, and then as we go through the week, it's going to remain in those upper 70s when we get into the highs, but it's actually going to get those lower lows where it's going to be around 49 degrees and then staying around in the 50s for the rest of the week. So it's going to be a slight cool down, and it's going to be sunny on Saturday, but partly cloudy skies for the rest of it. So it's not going to be doing too bad, but that slight cool down that we were talking about, just a slight cool down, don't got to bust out any coats or anything. It's going to be nice and warm. Now, as we take a look at our radar, teams we're having, oh, there we go. So it's a clear skies. We got nice Michigan, but we do have a little bit of a storm going up here in Wisconsin right up there, but I don't think that's going to hit us at all, or just maybe the upper peninsula, but other than that, it's going to be completely fine. So as we take a look outside, it's going to be a little hazy. It's not like cloudy at all, but it's not really clear skies. So it's all right with the temperature not being too hot or too cold right now. It's actually a great time to go outside and have some fun. Enjoy your weekend, guys, and I'll send things back to Caleb on the desk.
Well, thank you, Rex. And just to let you guys know, for the next few newscasts, DTV will be promoting our environmental stories that we did in collaboration with PBS's Nova Science Studio. Today we are premiering our second story. Kami Abanaj joins us now live in studio with more. Kami?
We have been working hard all year to bring light to the bigger impact that even the smallest things can have in our environment. Packaging waste is one that has ever-evolving influence on our everyday lives. Online shopping has boomed in popularity over the past 30 years, but it's not the shopping that's the problem. It's all of the extra packaging we get with it.
It usually comes in like a box and another box, like something wrapped up in it, and sometimes it's not necessary, like 4 boxes for 1 pair of shoes.
A survey from Pew Research Center found that nearly 80% of Americans shop online. With all this shopping, packaging waste from materials such as cardboard, plastics, and styrofoam have become harder to recycle since it's now delivered to individual homes as opposed to being one big shipment to the store. A study from World Economic Forum explains that only 16% of plastic actually makes it into the recycling plant. The other 84% that does not make it into the plants has a possibility to end up in our rivers and oceans. Once plastic is dumped into the water, it releases greenhouse gases as it slowly breaks down, which send more carbon emissions into our air. Not only does the plastic release greenhouse gases contributing to climate change, but so do the delivery trucks for all these packages. Rafael Oras is a professor at MSU School of Packaging and is working on the issue of packaging that cannot be biodegradable.
When the waste go to the houses, it's a little more challenge because you need to have all those communities now collecting those materials. And if we have communities in Michigan, for example, that do not have the collection, then the material will not be recovered.
A study from Sustainable Packaging Coalition says that roughly 60% of U.S. citizens have access to curbside recycling. But when packages are sent to your home, it often ends up here on the side of the road or just sitting in landfills. The transportation of goods and the materials used to package them both contribute to climate change. And this is accelerated when the excess waste is left in places where it shouldn't be. Raphael and many students at MSU have researched ways to degrade materials in a more efficient way to lower the amount of plastic left behind in the environment with a compost process using heat and soil.
In these jars we have a compost soil, and we introduce the materials inside, and then that material, we introduce air, and then look how the material will degrade in function of time by simulating that process that happens in industrial composting operation.
The jars that Raphael is showing us are mini compost environments. Raphael's lab is studying how to develop paper products that can be used and degraded more efficiently than single-use plastics.
And the samples will come into the device, we connect it here, and with that we actually collected then the CO2 evolution that will happen with the degradation of the material inside, and we have a system to measure that concentration in function of time and can calculate the degradation of the sample through the period that is doing the degradation process.
MSU researchers say that they could be the future providers of alternate packaging solutions. The researchers hope to identify packaging materials that can be reused and degraded without carbon emissions. Just 4 miles west from the MSU Research Lab, a local business is finding another way to reduce excess packaging. Alexa Hexel, the owner of Clean Refillery in Lansing, Michigan, is eliminating excess packaging by changing the way people shop.
So we're an eco-friendly refill store. That means that customers can bring their containers into our shop and refill home and personal care items that are a little more difficult to find with reduced packaging.
Clean Refillery also cuts down on carbon emissions of transporting products by sourcing some products from communities just a few miles away.
So a lot of these are Michigan-made products. I make the toilet cleaning bombs here in shop. These bar soaps are made right across the street at Soulful Earth. Laundry detergent is made over in Hazlitt by Fresh Coast Clean. We work really hard to work with local people because when we keep it closer to home, then it's shipping things. You don't have people driving as far and you like using fossil fuels.
When Alexa has the materials shipped from close locations, she is using a process of circular economy. Circular economy is an economic system based on the reuse and regeneration of materials or products from areas where it isn't too far. Shipping materials can be recyclable, but most are not. A study from Environmental Protection Agency found that containers and packaging make up a major proportion of municipal solid waste, amounting to 82.2 million tons of generation in 2018. Alexa hopes she can help pump the brakes on large corporations' excess packaging and make a difference in fighting climate change.
We're showing corporations and big businesses, this is the stuff we want to see. So I'm helping customers to vote with their dollar. So they're showing the big companies where the money is and the changes that they want to see.
I'm here now with Kami Avanaj and Michaela Herrick, my co-producers on the Packaging Waste story. So first of all, what kind of really inspired you guys to come up with this story out of everything that we could talk about with like climate change and everything?
So I think one big thing that inspired me was driving on the side of the road, or driving, you would see a bunch of trash on the side of the road, and I feel like it was a big issue because it was stuff that could be fixed because we could easily fix that problem.
And it was also like, I feel like our generation also shops online, like Shein, it's just like this big thing because it's cheap and it's just easy to get and it's just waste everywhere, and I just feel like we needed to show the problem.
I mean, coming up with the story, Kami had bought like an entire huge package of Shein and everything.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. We talked about it. So.
Yeah, so it's okay.
But anyways, next question. What kind of things did you really like seeing at the MSU School of Packaging? Like what really sparked the idea kind of you two guys to further go into this story?
Definitely seeing people actually noticing the problem other than it just being like thrown away, you know? Like I liked seeing that people actually cared and did research and they wanted to get to the bottom of the problem, and I really hope this type of this type of solutions actually get used in the future.
And then what was your guys' favorite kind of part of making the entire story?
My favorite part was going to MSU and see all the researchers like getting so involved in the issue and all of the cool gadgets they had and all of the experiments that they were doing.
My favorite part was definitely us three becoming a lot more closer and working together to make this story work, and I'm glad that it's over, but I also had a great time with new experiences and it was just great.
And it came out really good.
Yes, it did came out really good. I loved it all. It was great.
Well, thank you, Davidson. Have a great weekend, and see you on Monday as we dive into something a little drier.